Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another speculation video. So I hope those of you who decided to buy Home Chef Hustle are enjoying the new pack. And now that stuff packs are back, I did get a comment from Mitzi requesting that I take another look back at the previous stuff pack vote ideas, because I think there is a good chance that more of these could come true in one form or another, because some certainly have. For those of you who are newer to the game, we had two separate occasions where we could vote on a stuff pack, and unlike the recent kit vote where it was just choosing the theme, we had also votes for the art style, the gameplay focus, the build by objects, and the create a sim, and even the title. The first of these community voted packs was Laundry Day, so it sounded kind of bizarre at first to do a whole stuff pack on laundry, but it ended up becoming one of my favorites. I like having a little bit of that mundane realism in my life simulator, not to mention I really love the aesthetic of both the create a sim and the build by. It also integrates pretty well with seasons and the off-the-grid lot traits, and the trailer I think is still one of my favorites for The Sims. It's just so overly dramatic about laundry for no reason. The second community voted pack was Nifty Knitting. This one's actually my favorite stuff pack at the moment. Even though I don't really like the Create a Sim as much in this pack, I love the idea of crafting stuff through knitting, so it's another one of those things where it's like, hey, you can actually see where this comes from instead of it just popping out of nowhere from build by. It also gave us rocking chairs for the first time, which is great, and I'm glad that the kids can also partake in knitting. And there is also Plopsy, which is pretty handy when I remember it exists. However, many ideas did have to be left on the cutting room floor in order to get to those two packs, showing basically that side of game development where not every idea you have from the beginning will necessarily make it into the final product. So let's take a look at the themes of the very first stuff pack vote. We have Eco Living, Starter Home, Arcade, Dangerous, and Wedding. So Eco Living was the winning theme, and that moved on to eventually become Laundry Day. So not really much point going over that, though it is funny that a lot of people accidentally call Eco Lifestyle Eco Living. But Starter Home stuff, where you could customize your household with affordable pre-owned furniture and clothing, perfect for Sims just starting out or struggling to get by, and potential areas of focus were space-saving furniture and yard sale items. So the space saving part definitely factors into tiny living stuff, which we got much later. Yard sales we can kind of have with the sales table that we had in City Living and Jungle Adventure, but that's mainly like for smaller items, so it's not quite that. And maybe even some of it thematically kind of works with the Basement Treasures kit, even though the imagination behind those objects is for a different sort of thing entirely. But yeah, I think it could still kind of go with Sims just starting out or struggling to get by as well. Next up is Arcade, where you take your Sims to an arcade for an afternoon of entertainment with friends. Potential areas include arcade activities, games of skill, and social experiences. I think this could be a lot of fun, easily an idea I can imagine happening. So we do have that one arcade machine with Get Together, but that's a massive one. That takes a lot of space. I would still like to have your more typical arcade cabinet that's typically just one player at a time as well. It'd be fun to see what other sorts of objects they could bring in. Maybe skee ball, or like the basketball arcade game we had in the Sims 3 store. Maybe even the air hockey table we had in the Sims Bustin' Out. That would be interesting to see on the PC side. Then we have Dangerous. Live life on the edge by subjecting your Sims to new dangers that celebrate the afterlife. Potential areas include sim deaths, funeral experiences, and the Grim Reaper. No doubt this is definitely aimed at the players who go a lot more chaotic, but yeah, we definitely could use expanded funerals. We still don't even have a proper graveyard venue type, which is pretty strange. The Grim Reaper being mentioned is interesting because I think that could tie into an idea we actually got in the second occasion that we voted on stuff packs. The last one is wedding stuff, and really everything here was covered by my wedding stories. Yeah, that didn't turn out too well, unfortunately, but yeah, that idea was done, so there's really no point in doing a wedding stuff pack, in my opinion. So out of that group of ideas, I think arcade stuff is easily the most likely one to happen. It'd have a pretty broad appeal, and I think even though, yeah, you could put that into a bigger pack, especially if we got a Hobbies expansion pack in a similar vein to The Sims 2 Free Time, I still think, especially with the standard of quality of stuff packs now, enough could be put into that for it to stand on its own, and there's so many different types of hobbies you could represent in a pack, there's no way even an expansion pack could realistically represent them all. But that said, let's move on to the second community stuff pack vote. The first of the 5 themes is arts and crafts. So the first one is a pottery wheel where you can sculpt bowls, vases, teapots, cups, and more, and then paint them with unique patterns and colors to give them a personalized touch. I feel like this would be a pretty good one to put in a Hobbies expansion pack, but I don't know how many stuff packs they plan on making from this point forward, so maybe it could happen. I just don't think the chances are all that high. The next one is cross-stitching, which we did already get with cottage living. Then there is the glass fabrication station to create vibrant lamps, vases, stained glass, decorative decor, and works of art. It also suggests the idea to host a museum gala to showcase your creations, which I think would be great because I barely use museums at all. I'm not sure if that's the case for most of you, but yeah, super rare for me. Usually other lot types get prioritized, especially with how small the worlds are nowadays, but that would be a great way of making museums more useful. Next is edible art using fruits and vegetables. I'm not really interested in this idea, and I don't remember it being that popular during the voting process, so I highly doubt this one is gonna happen at all, unless it did end up becoming a side feature of a bigger pack, like cross-stitching. And then finally, knitting. Well, that ended up being the gameplay idea that won, and ended up becoming nifty knitting stuff. Moving on to the next theme here, Funtech. Have your Sims practice their putting skills with a virtual putting green, then put those skills to use on the mini golf circuit. Mix and match decor to create a custom mini golf course in the backyard, indoors, or at a venue. This sounds so fun! I would really love for this one to happen. This was easily one of my favorite ideas from this whole group. But yeah, that's kind of cool, where you just start out on a virtual putting green and then you do the real thing once you're ready. And yeah, we just haven't really had this fully fleshed out in The Sims before. We had like a few mini golf holes with The Sims Making Magic, but it wasn't really like a whole cohesive feature. It was just like a few just random holes you could plunk down with really no connection to each other. Next is a Void Critter locator device, and this was basically done in Snowy Escape with one of the festivals, so I don't think we're really gonna get this in any other form. Then have fun and stay fit with an indoor cycling machine and a new treadmill, both using the latest in-screen technology to provide an immersive exercise experience. Experience the thrills of biking in a snowstorm, down a city street, or through a forest with a widescreen monitor and unique audio for each scenario. I guess this would be kind of neat if this happened, but not exactly in this way. I would still like to have just a regular exercise bike. I don't need the whole like virtual experience with that. Even though we did just get Home Chef Hustle, which is basically Cool Kitchen 2.0, I'm still not sure if they would do another fitness themed stuff pack. Fitness stuff was not received very well at all, so I think this is another thing where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe just throw this into a hobbies pack instead. After that, we have a portable hologram that can be your Sim's new best friend, where you can customize their look, name, personality, and then have fun playing new interactive games, dancing, pranking other Sims, or just hanging out. And your friend can help with homework, chores, and skill building. Why weren't familiars in Realm of Magic like this? Yeah, this just sounds like a much improved version of that. And it also kind of reminds me of the ones we had in The Sims 3 Into the Future. I think in the earlier days of stuff packs, this would have been the one and only feature, but now that they've raised the bar, I think they would pair this with another. Perhaps it could go with the mini golf, since you have the virtual putting green, so it's like, oh, there's another digital feature that you could have. The last one is step into the world of simulated sports with a high-tech sports screen that allows your sim to play solo interactive games like baseball, golf, or soccer in the comfort of their living room, play against friends online, and earn Simstagram bragging rights. So I guess to an extent we already have this with the virtual reality object in the base game, unless it was like adding a console and you could play something like a parody of Wii Sports. But again, I feel like this is not really enough to be its own stuff pack. Maybe pair it with something else like the portable hologram. Next theme is science and technology. Encourage your Sims creativity with colorful building blocks, wheels, and gears to build fantastic structures. Enter online creativity competitions or have two Sims work together to build oversized imaginative creations. I don't think this one would go over very well, especially the oversized part. I completely forgot this idea existed. I don't imagine this happening unless, again, it was maybe a feature of a hobbies expansion pack. Then explore food science with new kitchen appliances, practice precision cooking with a sous vide machine, and speedy cooking with a pressure cooker. Dehydrate and rehydrate to extend the life of leftovers and create unique flavor infusions to enhance recipes for better or worse. Well, we did just get a cooking themed stuff pack, so I think that does reduce the chances a bit. Like, okay, having cool kitchen and then Home Chef Hustle. I don't know, would we get a third one that is themed around food? Yeah, I mean, there are still some appliances I think Simmers would want, like toasters and the deep fryer, but yeah, I still don't think this one would happen. I don't think it's all that compelling on its own. Next is explore electricity and engineering with educational STEM kits. Build functional electronics like stereos, televisions, arcade cabinets, computers, and even a hologram projector. This one also I'm not super impressed by, though I guess that is kind of cool having it be like, oh, you can craft stuff, but it's more for the electronic side of things. But for a stuff pack on its own, I'm not really sold on this. Study the foundations of life with a desktop microscope. Test soil samples and create serums to improve crop yields. Discover yeast to bake tasty bread. Cultivate healthy yogurt starters. And take on freelance lab assignments to earn simoleons. This should be a free update. We should not have to pay to have a reasonably sized microscope. No way. I mean, I wouldn't expect every single one of those features to be provided for free, but I mean, yeah, we definitely should get a desktop microscope. I wouldn't mind getting another freelance career, but yeah, fingers crossed this does not happen in stuff pack form. This should be an update. Lastly, we have study astronomy with a portable telescope, learn to take breathtaking photographs of far-off galaxies, create star maps, and master an assortment of space-themed baked goods. I wouldn't mind having more features for the telescopes. Creating star maps sounds kind of intriguing, but other than that, we already got the main point of this, the portable telescope, because we got that in the free update before Werewolves. Next theme is self-care routines. The fitness watch will track your Sim's daily routine by calculating how many steps they've taken, how long they've slept, sat, and been active, set fitness goals, and receive weekly reports with your Sim's stats. Share these on the computer and compare stats with other neighborhood Sims. I actually really like this idea, just like another sort of like modern real world innovation in The Sims that would just make the game feel more realistic. But this is another idea that I don't think would stand on its own for a stuff pack these days. So perhaps this could be paired with one of the other ideas, perhaps the next one, the healthy living aspiration, where you strive to live the healthiest life possible. You get gameplay bonuses for eating healthy food and can unlock unique exercises and recipes. They can join the healthy lifestyle coach freelancer career and help other Sims improve their health. Yeah, I think this is a pretty nice one. Definitely would pair with the fitness watch. I think those two combined could make a pretty interesting stuff pack, perhaps even fitting in the next idea too, since we tend to get like 3 gameplay objects. Mix things up with garden fresh ingredients and supplements in your smoothie blender. Use new green leafy vegetables or berries from the new berry bushes to create nutrient dense smoothies with a hint of sweetness. Grab a smoothie from the smoothie stand, which can be placed on any venue. Okay, well, we kind of got that with Home Chef Hustle, not specifically for smoothies, but yeah, I guess then maybe that last part could be left out and it could just integrate with Home Chef Hustle if you have it. But yeah, I totally forgot earlier to mention a smoothie blender. I would love to have that in the game. These days, the drinks we get are either alcoholic or an energy drink. I'd love to have more that are neither. Then we have blend custom teas and herbal infusions, using fruit and flowers from the garden or foraged throughout the neighborhood. Create the perfect brew to alter moods and improve work performance. Become a master tea blender and sell your brews online or take custom orders to craft unique brews. Well, I feel like this and the smoothie blender should be in the same pack. So yeah, it's just like, wouldn't quite stand on its own, but could be a little interesting at least. I'm more interested in the blender myself, but personalize your Sims with a new vegan trait. To help them eat well, there are new vegan recipes and garden plants, including chickpeas and almonds. Make your own plant-based milks at home and enjoy delicious snacks made with homemade nut butters. We already have plant-based milk with cottage living. A vegan trait I feel should be in a free update, but then that'd be awkward because the lactose intolerant and vegetarian traits are behind paywalls with cottage living and city living respectively, so I guess that ship has sailed. But again, I feel like there's not quite enough here to be its own stuff pack. Again, I think it would have to pair with at least one of these other ideas. Perhaps what they could do is make a self-care themed stuff pack containing the fitness watch, healthy living aspiration, and the vegan trait. But I mean, ideally the smoothie blender too, but that might be stretching the budget too thin, so the smoothie blender could go in another pack, and I guess the custom tea and herbal infusions if enough people want those too. But definitely at least 3 of those ideas should be put into a stuff pack. That could end up being pretty fun, but less than that might feel underwhelming. Then we have Happy Haunts. I saved the best for last here. I know a lot of people want at least one of these features. So we have the Seance Table, that's in paranormal stuff. The Haunted House Lot Trait, that's also in paranormal stuff. The Psychic Freelance Career. Use mystic cards to tell fortunes from home or set up a table in the park to tell the fortunes of passers-by. Run a website to offer online readings, horoscopes, and vlogs. Earn extra income as a telephone psychic. So you could give those scary sounding messages over the phone like what we just had on the receiving end in The Sims 1. So yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. We don't have that one yet. The Ghost Hunter Freelancer career we basically have in Paranormal as well, but this last one, reap the rewards when you join the Grim Reaper Freelancer career. Ease Grim's workload by preventing deaths or reaping souls. Follow the tenets of the Grim Reaper Society and uphold the sacred laws, or build your personal wealth by letting Sims live longer for a price. This sounds so intriguing, like actually being to get a Reaper, maybe even get more insight into the Grim Reaper himself, who's been such a mystery in the Sims franchise. The lore has a lot of potential, and I actually think this would be better suited to a game pack, which is why I did not originally vote for this one. So yeah, even with the standard of stuff packs now, I still feel like this could be a really interesting game pack. I was actually hoping we'd get that in time for Halloween this year, but turns out no game packs in 2023 at all. I think out of every single idea I've talked about in this video, I'd be the most disappointed if they just never ended up doing this one at all. Though there's one important thing that they need to include with this, and it's a toggle to make it so that you can have Sims not be able to be selected as part of the reaping with this freelance career, because I don't want to kill off all my Sims that I've made. But we have neighborhood stories now, so I guess it could be a setting under that. So there we have it. That's all of the previous stuff pack vote ideas that could potentially happen in the future now that stuff packs have made their return. I'm not expecting all of these to happen, but I think at least a few of these could happen even if not through a stuff pack. Heck, we still have that neighborly expansion pack left this year, so maybe we could see some of these ideas appear in that depending on what direction they go in. But feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Which ones would you like to see brought to the game? And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!